that you receive an audit or you receive an inspection. Someone from your organization, your company, your hostel comes for audit and check. Or sometimes you would like to make something called self-inspection. You would like to ensure that you are matching the standards and regulations. So in our presentation today, we'll give some sort of tips and highlights from both prospects, auditor and ODT, because I was an ODT for many times. I have been audited, and also I am an auditor. I am certified as a lead quality auditor for ISO. I am certified also Lean and Six Sigma, Blue Belt and Green Belt, and I received different trainings on quality or total quality management from different sources, including medical quality diploma and others. So I will give you some practical tips from my real experience with a short introduction, and I will give you things could be applicable. It depends on if you work in a hostel, if you work in a pharmacy or a chain pharmacy, if you work in a pharma company or whatever, more or less all what I will say will be applicable to you by a way or another. So usually we want to know what are the standards that we should follow. Usually there are different regulations, guidelines, standards, principles. Like if we go back to 1964 or whatever, we have Declaration of Helsinki that are talking about the standards of the patient care and patient rights and safety and well-being. So this is related to medicine, related to development of a drug, related to the use of the medicine, how we conduct a clinical trial and all this stuff. And also we have different global principles and guidelines like ICH guidelines, which is called International Conference of Harmonization, which is mainly to harmonize the technical requirements needed to register a human product. So this is focusing on clinical trials and safety, focusing even on the preclinical trials and what is needed even from animal studies and whatever to ensure safety and well-being until the product is available in the market and the patients are receiving the product. The WHO has different standards in the quality and the management and the distribution and the storage and different standards, including even the WHO GCP, Good Clinical Practice, and other standards. So we have different global principles, standards, and regulations. We have also regional and local guidance. We have some stuff related to GCC, some stuff related to a local government or a local society, standards, principles again, ethical standards, code of ethics. So all these are helping in controlling and ensuring that we are doing the work in a good way, in a good practice, in a good quality. So the organization, the hostel, the company, usually they have what is called standard operating procedures. So every place, when they have a vision and mission, they have strategy and objectives. So how to ensure that we are following this? So we should have standards, standard operating procedures and documents and templates and forms, and to ensure that we are following all of this. Some examples of the global standards, we call it GXP. Why GXP? Because it's G something P. So you have GMP, good manufacturing practice, that could be applicable to manufacturing facilities or plants. We have good distribution practice, so it's applicable for the storage, transportation, wholesale, cold chain, all this stuff. If you have a warehouse, if you need a storage in a place in a hostel or pharmacy storage or whatever. We have GCB, good clinical practice, to ensure that we are following the standards of conducting clinical trials, to ensure that the safety and efficacy and everything is done correct, without bias, with good quality and good standards. If we talk about safety on patients from the drug safety, so we have GDP, good pharmacovigilance practice. So it's released by the EMA in Europe. They have more than 11 modules to ensure that there is a PV system or pharmacovigilance system that the companies, especially the pharma companies or distributors, are following it and ensuring that everything is done in a good standard. And many others like good laboratory practice for testing, for whatever. So we have GXP standards. It's a group of different standards, but according to my place, I should follow one of these standards. What I'm doing, we have good documentation practice and other stuff. Also global standards like ISO. So ISO, they have what is called as a 7 quality management principles, like customer focus, which is one of the very important and main points that have to have how you can ensure customer satisfaction and how to match it. And if you are not matching the customer focus, so how you improve this through leadership, through engagement of people within your organization and even the customers, how to make the process, how to make the improvement, and to ensure that you are reaching a good standard level, and to ensure that you are taking your decisions based on evidence, not something subjective. So you need a reference to ensure that this decision is evidence-based. When we talk about evidence-based medicine or real-world data, so researches, surveys, all this will help me in having an evidence-based decision-making. Relationship management, if you have customers, if you have also clients, you have vendors, other business partners, suppliers, so you deal with external stakeholders, you have to ensure that you are following the quality management when you are following this. Each one of these 7 principles has a statement and a rationale, it has benefits and actions, how to improve it. To know more about this, of course, you may go deep and go for a training or something for ISO certifications, because it's too much detail. Without going to these much details, we know now that there are the standards. So what about me? What about my work? What about my level now compared to these standards? Am I matching these standards? So that's why the audits or inspection are here. Usually audit in Arabic مراجعة or it's a review. Usually it's something internal, like if I work in an organization. So quality manager or audit department, they make an audit internally. Or even if they don't have this expertise, so they can hire a vendor or an external auditor, but it's something more or less the company or the organization or the hostel are doing this on themselves. I want to get ISO certification, so I bring the company, please help me in ISO certification. So they will make an audit on you and they will tell you you need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you do this. If this is coming from a government, so we call it usually inspection, تفتيش, مفتش. So we have either audit or inspection. What are the objectives? Usually, in general, we have 2 main objectives. The auditor or inspector would like to see that you have a process, you have a procedure, you have documents, SOPs, standard operating procedures, that are in place, that are defined, that are documented. So they want to see that you have it. And number 2, they want to see that you are following it. So if you will say that I will do 1, 2, 3, show me that you are following 1, 2, 3, that you are doing 1, 2, 3. So you want to see that these processes or procedures are implemented and of course in the correct way. If you will say, I will check on XYZ every month, show me a proof that you made this check. You have a document, you have a template, you have a form that is signed and dated, what are the findings or whatever. How you improve this. So 2 points. You have a process in place and you are following the process that you have in place. Okay? So usually there is a tactical planning. So if you want to make an audit, what is the planning? What are the objectives? So Usually, we should have quality measures in place. Like when I say or audit on pharmacovigilance. So I say you should have a measures for pharmacovigilance system in your place. So how I measure that I am fulfilling and matching the GDP standards. So this is something that I would like to be in place, for example, this pharmacovigilance. And to see very importantly that the critical or very important processes within the system are monitored and checked. Come on, if I will check once a year, so what about the problem or the deviation of the issue that happened in January when I check in December? So I have to make a regular monitoring. Is it weekly? Is it monthly? Is it quarterly? It depends on what action, what measure, and which frequency I have to do. And then, if I have previous audit, so what was not really of the areas that there were some findings or some deviations, or it were received, for example, not properly checked, inadequately examined or checked in the previous audits or previous inspections, or if there is something finding that found or something general as a common finding, usually the auditors find with other audits. So if I audit 3-4 companies or organizations, and I usually have finding X in all. So when I will audit you tomorrow, I will look and check deeply on this because it's a common finding. Like people are not well trained, for example. The documentation management are not really good in place. The interaction with other functions or other stakeholders and people are working in silos of different islands. Okay, so to ensure that I'm ready, I should have defined KPIs in place, which is key performance indicators or measures. Like, for example, that I will conduct audit on X department once a year in quarter one. So this is my target. And then after I finish quarter one, did I do this audit? Is done correct? Is done in the proper way? Yes or no? If yes, well, I achieved my target. If not, it is not. Okay. And you know, when you work in sales or commercial, you put target, you have to sell X amount of this product, or you have to sell 1,000 whatever every day. Okay, and this is your target. If you achieve 900, you achieved 90% of your target. So when the sales people have target, so the quality people also should have a target. The target is measure or a metrics related to items. What are my objectives and how I achieve it? So I will put the target to measure my achievement. One of the main points, if I want to be in a good shape from quality perspective, to be ready for audit or inspection, do it now. So if you will have something and you are quite busy and you load it, and then you will say, okay, I will do it tomorrow. So tomorrow when you come in the morning, you'll have million things to do. And sometimes you forgot and you don't do what it should be done. So try to do it now and don't postpone it until tomorrow, like I do, or you do, or many other people do. Have or ensure that the process is end-to-end, is completed. If I am in warehouse and I want to check the temperature and the temperature log, so in something for cold chain or products or whatever, I have to ensure that everything from A to Z is done. Since the products arrived, and then I checked the data logger for temperature, and everything is done, and then documented, and then I communicated this to the stakeholder if everything is fine, and I saved all this on my computer or the server or in the cabinet, or the documents are signed and dated and there, and then I check everything in every step until the end. So it's end-to-end process. If everything is done, documentation is done, communication is done, archiving is done, and whatever, so I have end-to-end process completed. What else? Usually, the audit is defined into, let me say, 3 parts. Before the audit, during the audit, and after the audit. Very simple. So before the audit, usually there is something called announcement. Some audits are unannounced, so people come in the morning, knock, knock. I am an inspector from government or health authority. We would like to check the storage or whatever. Or someone even from the hostel or your company, they are coming and unannounced. This is not common, but usually there is an announcement. It depends. It could be a month, could be 2 months, could be even longer, but there is an announcement and someone told you you will be audited. So number one, what you'll do, what is my advice? Number one, don't panic. Don't panic. If you do it now, you will be ready. I call it inspection readiness. If someone is coming to you and knocking the door, I would like to audit you, you will say, welcome, I am ready. Because I do it now. I do everything immediately, I'm ready. I don't have a hell of papers that I have to archive or finish or finalize or whatever. I do it on daily basis. So once I announce it, and they are telling me that we'll have an audit. So I will ask for some questions if they didn't say it. So usually they say the audit duration. It could be 1 day, it could be half day, it could be 3 or 4 days. And then I will ask about the scope of the audit. What is in scope and what is out of scope? Is it will focus on the quality issues, quality assurance issues, or you will focus on other stuff? So I would like to know the scope. And the scope includes also the duration. So you will ask me of data and documents for 2 years back, or 1 year back, or more or less. Okay, so we would like to try to understand what is in the scope and what is out of the scope. Some audits, they can ask you for pre-audit documents or requests, or they will send you a list that please prepare this stuff. Either the auditor would like to receive it before the audit, or he is telling you, please prepare this. I would like to check all these documents during the audit execution, 1 or 2 days or whatever. Usually, one of the main questions that they will ask about the previous audits. Did you have audit in last couple of years, for example? And after this audit, what in the audit report, what are the findings of the previous audit? And what are the corrective and preventive actions taken? Are these completed or not, still open, accepted by the auditor or the management or what? So all this could be before the audit, and then they can send you the audit agenda. Within the agenda, they can say, yeah, okay, from 9 to 10 we'll have the opening meeting, and then 10 to 11 I would like to interview 1 to 3 people from different functions, and then after that we want to review the documents that I sent you in the pre-audit list. Do you have a vendor or business partners? You are outsourcing some activities. Show me contracts, show me whatever. And then I would like to visit the place. I want to make a facility tour. I would like to see the place for archiving or storage. Show me this, show me that. Very commonly, you would like to check for the server room and IT and how you save the cabinets that you are saving the documents. You would like to see different places, interview different people, and ideally, this should be part of the agenda. So when you know what is in the scope in details, so you could be ready for any questions, and if they will say something or they will ask or look for something is not in the scope, you will say this is out of scope. Okay, You have to prepare your staff well, the company staff. If they will meet some people, make interview, so you have to ensure that they are prepared. If they should receive a specific training, and this training is documented. If they will meet the receptionist at the beginning. So sometimes they meet people randomly, are not planned. So you have to ensure when we will move from point or room here to room there, what people they will meet in the middle or whatever. Sometimes they ask different questions. The duration of the audit will reflect the depth of the audit. So if the guy will audit you in half day versus 4 days, so you can imagine the depth of the audit. If they will stay with you for 3-4 hours, it's not like 3 or 4 days. Okay? If it's one person will come, okay, compared to 2 or 3 people, auditor and co-auditors, so again, it's different. Imagine that there are 3 auditors are coming for 3-4 days. So a lot of documents they will ask for, a lot of documents they will review, will interview many people, will look here and that. So you can expect this audit or this inspection will be very deep and they will dig and dig. So you have to be ready and you have to understand. Know your auditor. So if you know the name of the auditor, so you can see, come on, this guy is from my organization. Do I know him or her? So ask colleagues who were audited before. You know, when you are in the college and you go for oral exam, and sometimes you ask about this professor. Yeah, he likes to ask the question this and that. Okay, so you'll be ready and prepared because you expect or you anticipate that he will ask these questions. So if you know the auditor, try to know it, to know him from a way or another. So this can help you to expect what he likes more. He would like to go for contracts and agreements, or he would like to go deep for trainings, or he would like to interview more people, or the facility, or whatever. Do they have a checklist, this auditor? Do you have a copy of this checklist so you will know what they usually ask? So I should know and understand more and more. So this will help me a lot in understanding what will be the audit scope and how I can make good preparations. Example for the agenda. So usually, most of the audits, they make an opening meeting. They would like to see someone from the organization to make a short presentation about the company or the hostel or whatever. They would like to see the organization chart, understand some basic information about the place. They would like usually to see the staff qualification. So they will ask you, show me your qualification and your backup. So if you do a specific job, when you are absent, who is your backup? And usually they can ask for your qualification, your CV, your job description, if you have something called the training records or training plans. So to show me that you are qualified to do the job. And they will ask, do you know your job? Okay, so what is your job? Do you have a written job description? So it depends on the organization. So staff qualifications is quite different. And then they will stay for a good time for the quality management system. What are your SOPs? What are working instructions? These arrows, right and left. If you have a template or form, you use and fill these forms. What about if you do internal audit? They can ask you, did you audit yourself or someone audited you before? Do you have key performance indicators, measurement metrics, so you can make some sort of improvement? And then one of the important and good examples is the customer management. So how you deal with your customer. So if I am a pharmacist and my customer is a patient, if I am in a pharma company and my customer is a healthcare professional or the doctor that I visit, if I'm a salesman. Okay, so it depends on who is my customer, how I deal, what are the main focus. So it depends on the job, and they can focus also on the customer focus and customer management and how you deal with customers. They of course ask for the training, as I just mentioned, that you are trained and the other company staff are trained. If there is a company training matrix, who should receive what training? And is it just once or they have a refreshment? Do you perform evaluation for this training? Is it face-to-face? Do you have slides? Do you do it by Zoom? How to ensure that people understood? Do you have a quiz? Do you have a workshop or whatever? So how to ensure that people are trained and understand their job or what they should do? And then, of course, part of the agenda, the interviews with different functions and the different interactions that they do. And of course, they review agreements or contracts. They review one important thing, which is the business continuity and the disaster recovery. And when I used to audit companies before the COVID-19 pandemic, so I can tell you that like 70% of the companies that I audited, they didn't have business continuity and disaster recovery plan. But now I believe it became more acceptable and people understand more what is business continuity, what is disaster recovery. It's a document to ensure that how we continue the business in case of a disruption. Something happened, starting from electricity shutdown, internet problem, up to storm, or floods, or pandemic, or someone in the organization traveled very ill, passed away, anything happened, okay? So how you manage and continue the business and ensure the business continuing. Can you manage the business from home? Or of course not. I have to be in the warehouse or I have to be in the pharmacy. I cannot leave my place. So what are measures could be taken? And then after this disaster stopped, how we will do the recovery to ensure that we are back to normal after the recovery. How many people should come back to the work? Is it allowed to come with a full power 100%? Or still the government are saying only 50% of people can come back, whatever. So there should be a procedure in place called the business continuity and disaster recovery. This is applicable to any organization of any type. Usually, as I just mentioned, you would like to check the documents and records for maintenance and archiving, how you keep them, how you maintain, how you update them, and of course, how you archive them and ensure that they are in a safe place. Well, I think I have a separate slide on the document management. Facility tour, as I mentioned, so they will look for storage, for temperature, for stuff like IT, server room, and many other things. So I have to ensure that all my documents are updated. There is something called the review period. If I make standard operating procedure, or I have a job description, or whatever document, is it just done once in my life, or it should be reviewed like every 2 years or every 3 years? Okay, so is it 2015 and it should be reviewed every 3 years, and now we are 2022, it is not reviewed, so it's outdated. Any document or quality document, to be clear, it should be signed and dated. And for me as auditor, signed and dated means that I will see the name of the person who is signing, his title or designation, the date, and the signature itself. Like when you have a bank check, so there should be the name, the amount of money, the date, the signature, the official signature, so everything should be in place. Otherwise, if something is missing, so it is not a complete document. Many quality documents has what is called version history and the revision history. Version history, like the template itself, it's version 2 effective 1st of Jan 2022. But sometimes within this document, I do some updates, like it's a template for job description. So someone joined, has his job description, he's putting his name, his title, and whatever, and then the rest is the same. And then he would like to update his job description and add that he has 2 subordinates, 2 people are reporting to him, or add another responsibility. So the job description now became version 2 instead of version 1, so it's amended or revised. So the documents could have a version history and a revision history. So let me go for a couple of examples of things that the auditor usually check, and I try to bring more or less general examples that could be applicable to all of us. One of the most important thing is the documentation management. So as I just mentioned, the documents should be in place. So if they will ask you, do you have contract with vendors to do 1, 2, 3? Yes. How many vendors you have and you have contracts? We have 8 vendors. Can you show me the contracts? And then you don't know where are the contracts. You go to the legal person. Do you have the contracts? You say, I have 2. Check with the finance. And then you go to the finance. Yeah, I have 2. And then you check with the general manager. Come on, I don't keep this with me. Check with my admin here and there, and you don't know where are the contracts or the agreements. Okay, so they should be in a specific place. We know there's the contracts for the agreements. Documents. If I have, we have patient records, or we have in a company and people sign and do something or whatever, and they have a lot of records or old documents that we keep only for archive. And now there are a lot of documents that are hard copy, not soft copy. And too much, guys, a big 2, 3 boxes every day or every 2 days. We don't have a place for this. So we'll archive this in a storage or an archive company or whatever. Is these documents retrievable? If I want a document from February 2021, is it easy to get it back? Or it will be very difficult to bring it back, so the document should be retrievable. Of course, it should be updated, as I just mentioned, signed and dated, and current and not outdated, and should be protected. So should be in a safe place. If I'm talking about hard document, paper, or soft copy. So if it's hard, is it in a safe place? According to the criticality of the document. So are we keeping this in a just room and it's closed, or in a cabinet that is steel, okay, that is fireproof, waterproof? We have a pest control, okay, to ensure that these documents are kept because they are very important. Or we have these documents soft copies, and these soft copies are in the server. Okay, so what about the backup? Do you have a backup? So we have a server here. If I am a chain company and I have an office like if I am in UAE, I have an office in Dubai and an office in Abu Dhabi. Or I have office in Riyadh and an office in Jeddah. So there is a server in Riyadh and the backup server could be in Jeddah. Or if I am in a building and the backup server in another building in another district. So the backup place should not be in the same building or even in the same city. Or sometimes I do the cloud storage. I have agreement with Microsoft or Oracle, and we make the storage on cloud. So they do this. Is it done daily, incremental, and then weekly, and then monthly, and whatever? So that's why the auditors would like to interview and see the IT people to ask them such questions. Is it the server room is closed, access controlled, protected, fireproof? You have fire extinguisher, you have alarm system. Is it connected with the civil defense? A lot of questions, a lot of points that should be covered to ensure that the documents are safe. What about the data protection? Who has access to these shared folders? Does everyone can access any folder? You can see, for example, the finance people. Okay, so they keep everything secret. So because no one should know what they have. So is the documents related to my department or my role are protected? Could be patient data, could be personal data for me. So are we matching and ensuring that the confidentiality and the data protection are done well, either to internal staff or to external staff like patients or whatever? So what about data protection for all the documents? So, and many other points that the auditor asks for the documentation management. Let me go for another example, which is the training. So sometimes if you are in a lab and your people should be trained on a specific procedure or new machine or device or whatever. So I should know that who needs what training, who should receive what training of my staff. So how the staff are trained, is it giving a presentation or practical training, how I document this training, how I am aware of the new joiner. If I am in a big organization and I have to train all the new joiners of the company compliance or hostel specific standards, and everyone should receive this training in a presentation or email or whatever. How I will be aware? Do I contact HR frequently to understand who left the company and who is staying? And how also I determine that the employees are due for training. If the training is should be done once a year, okay? So you did it in February to some people and in May or June to some others. How I will know who should receive such a training when? If someone is promoted to a new position and joined another department and they should receive specific training, do you know where to find the updated templates? So if I have template for deviation management or CAPA, corrective and preventive actions, I am aware, is it available in a shared folder or something? Or they send it to us by email. So I should be aware of how the staff, my staff could be people who are reporting to me or people are not reporting to me or even vendors. Sometimes I have to train vendors or non-company or non-organizational staff. So this one of the very common findings during audits, that the training are not well done or not well documented. Another thing very important is the interactions. Are you working alone or you work closely with other departments? Do you communicate with quality department? Do you have, if you have complaint, how you manage this complaint? Do you communicate with the quality? Who is managing the product technical complaint? If there is a medical device or something or there is a complaint, do you communicate with sales or commercial or marketing people if you work in a place that you have sales people and you would like to promote a product or something? How you deal with the HR, who joined and who left? How you deal with the business or IT about the servers, the backup, the access, the confidentiality, how you interact with them? How you interact with the compliance or legal or governance department if they have new standards that you have to follow or your team have to follow. So what are the interactions? Do you need regular interaction? Like with quality, I have to make regular interaction or HR or whatever. Okay. How you deal with office staff, other officers like receptionist or operator, especially the people who are working in a call center, that they receive calls or they make calls, call patients, call customers, receive orders, receive whatever. During this, they receive a complaint. So how they ensure that they direct the call to the direct person. Does the operator receptionist have like call forms so they will write what they take and then they will tell you or someone else? All these points could be considered. What about logistics and supply chain? If I work in a warehouse or I work in the quality and I deal with those people and the products and the cold chain, and if there's something with a batch, something with a temperature logger, and anything happened, okay? Finance and purchase, do they buy whatever I ask for them? How they deal with some clients or customers? If there is a complaint, how they handle, how they refund something, okay? Public affairs or communication, if you have a disaster or something happened with a bad reputation about the hostel or the company or whatever, how they deal, how they interact with external community or external stakeholders, how I deal with the general management, or if I am part of a global or a big organization having a global or regional teams, how I interact with them, business partners, vendors, suppliers, regulators, and health authority. These interactions, depending on what your role and what your function, the auditor will ask you. how you deal with this, how you deal with that. Show me examples of communications. Show me examples of emails. Show me examples of this and that to ensure that you are aware of what you are doing and you are not working in separate, isolated island. No, we are an organization. We support the vision, we support the customer all together as like one for the patient or one for the customer. So we should interact internally and externally. And this is really common finding that some of these interactions are not done or not documented. Usually, to ensure that I am fine, I'm doing my job well, checklist. I believe it's very helpful that you have a checklist that can help you to assess your quality management system. And usually in this checklist, I have to ensure in my Excel or Word or table or whatever that I'm doing the job and the quality management system is done appropriately and effectively. And this system is implemented and there are actions and operations to ensure that the standards are followed. I have standards and I follow these standards. The auditors and the audit must be clearly documented. The auditor, sometimes you tell them, I did this and did that. I said, okay, I fully trust you, but show me. Because if it is not documented, the auditors say it is not done. If it is not documented, it is not done. Everything should be documented and should be archived or maintained in a place that is appropriate. So usually the audit and the auditors always rely on what is called verifiable evidence. Like show me email, show me signed document, show me whatever. That is, I can see, I can verify that it's correct. Testing is done, whatever is done, and there is an evidence, a record, a statement, email, or whatever. So checklist is very important that can help you. And usually most of the auditors, they have their own checklist and they ensure that they ask the questions and they fulfill the answers as needed. I always say we should be inspection ready or what is called the inspection readiness. So how to be ready for inspection? This means that I am ready to receive unplanned inspection. If the guy is coming and knocking the door, and then the receptionist is giving me a call, yeah, there's a guy outside, he's saying that he is from the Ministry of Health or FDA or whatever, and he's coming for inspection. You will not panic, and you will say, welcome. If you reach this level, you are ready for inspection. So how to do? All my procedures are in place. I am following the regulations and standards that are applicable. Everything is implemented, everything is well documented. My team or employees are trained. All the procedures and the documents related to the training are in place. The documents are available, are updated, are retrievable, are in a safe place. So everything is there. And we always have measures and metrics and KPIs. So we look always for improvement. So we have what is called review cycle. Usually there is a quality review cycle. So this review cycle will improve, ensure that I'm following regulation or legislation. I am aware of updates of legislations. I am aware of everything. So I am aligned and I am fulfilling these requirements. If I am ready for all of this, I am inspection ready. So everything should work together. I could not work alone. So we have people, we have documents or procedures. People should be trained. I should have a tools, IT tools, whatever, and we should implement everything. So we have documents, we have people, everything, and this is done. This is implemented, and then I will see if I implemented this well or not. So I have to monitor this. If something is not done well, so we do improvement. That's why we have what is called the deviation management. or audits, or self-inspection, or corrective and preventive actions, or change control, or all this coming back from the monitoring, from the measures, from the metrics that we see, that we measure, to ensure that we are reaching the level, we are reaching the target, and we are compliant. We are in a good level of compliance. By this, I can say that we are ready for any inspection or audit readiness. Thank you so much. And if you have any questions. I finished my presentation, by the way, okay? So
Thank you very much. I think it is very informative and excellent presentation. Now we are waiting for the questions.
Thank you, Mustafa. Thank you so much. And please, I love hearing questions, okay? So as you know, you can write in the QA, you can write in the chat, or you can raise your hand and we can give you the permission to talk. I tried to make it light, to make it more practical, not just theoretical. Usually I do this audit tips in 2 or 3 sessions, but I try to make it one so we can have high level but important information. So, questions, comments? I don't see any, guys, come on.
Presentation is so clear, so there is no questions.
So clear or not focused at all? I hope that it's so clear, yeah. I try to make it as clear and as simple as possible. So may I ask you, if any one of you received any audit before the inspection, just write in the chat or comments or whatever, just mention yes. Okay? If any of you received any audit before. I will say yes, okay? I have been audited before. Or my team audited before. If not, yes, okay. So I can tell you that audits and inspections are increasing. Whatever your work, the regulations are becoming more and more, and then some authorities and regulators and some multinational companies and whatever, they will do more audits in the coming few years, and we can expect more and more audits that will come. Probably during the COVID-19, it was quite few, or even none. But I see here, yeah, some of the comments, yes, we have audits, okay. So thank you, Dr. Javed. Okay, so audit is something really important that I should be ready for, and I should be easily accepting it, okay. Okay, I see another yes. Okay, so I'm saying yes, very good. And you know, guys, as an ODT, okay, I received some audits. Some of the auditors were really very tough and were picky. They were just coming to pick mistakes. Okay, they feel that this is the job. While some others who are really expert, I learned from them that this is an improvement process. That he is saying that I'm not here to pick mistakes. I am here to help you to improve. And I will take your good practice, what you are doing well, and then I will tell others in the future these good examples. So when I started to work as an auditor, I said, let me try to take the second model, not the first model, that an auditor is coming for an improvement and learning process for both sides. They learn from me and I learn from them. And when I learn more, I apply this in the future with other audits that I do. So I will help others, and this is a continuous improvement process for everyone. Okay, any questions or comments you would like to say or highlight? Okay. Do you see, Mustafa, any questions in?
No.
Okay, I don't see as well.
I'm
Probably I'm missing
waiting.
something. Yeah.
Dr. Javid say yes. Dr. Sadat
Yeah.
yes. Dr. Sadat
Yeah.
usually is active.
Yeah.
So maybe he want to add something.
Yeah, if anyone would like to add something. Good.
So far, it seems it's very clear, Dr. Ahmed. And
Okay.
as you said, I like your statement that audit process is area for development and it's not area for making mistakes.
Yes.
I like this statement too much, and I hope all auditors to be they have the same mindset, because in all our jobs we are facing and we have experience with auditors. I do believe the same as you said. You are coming to tell me where the area of development.
Perfect.
Yeah, Dr.
I
Javid.
see comment here from Dr. Javed.
Yeah.
He's saying thank you.
Can we get
yeah,
a
thanks for the
of
excellent presentation. And he's saying audits always give you a chance to improve, to reach to a higher level of quality. Yes, totally agree, doctor. And Dr. Al Sadiq is asking to get a copy of the presentation. Yes, of course, we can provide it to you. I'm willing to provide to anyone. So we'll send it to you, Dr. Al Sadiq. If anyone else, you can approach us and we can send you this presentation.
There is a link. All presentations, all sessions I uploaded in a YouTube channel of Pharma Access. I think I sent the link before, and I will send it again. So anyone who wants to see the lecture, definitely it will be there.
Okay, that's great. That's great. So yeah, so Dr. Mustafa will share the link of the YouTube channel, which is I think a private channel. So you will have all the presentations all together, and also if you need the slides, we can send it to you of some presentations. Yes, and thank you for your nice comments, Dr. Javed, Dr. Muhammad, Dr. Basma, and we really appreciate your nice comments. Thanks, Dr. Ahmed. It's very clear. Thanks a lot. Really, your presentation in high quality and give a better knowledge. Thank you. Thanks. Okay, so very nice comments from all of you guys, and really appreciate. And I would like really to thank you for attending this program that stayed for since December until now, with a break during Ramadan feast. And I believe that this could be the last presentation of this program, but of course it will not be the last of our activities. So I believe that we can have more and more in the near future. And I believe SINFA are also thinking and having some good plans. I will not disclose anyone because I know some of them, but still in the planning process. And I see that really Mustafa, as you say in Sinfa, that you have a authentic and accessible care. I believe this program was really authentic, and I'm sure that it can help all of us to have better access. You know, guys, we are all for the patients, hostel, pharmacy, pharma company, vendors, everyone. We are all for the patients, for their health, for public health, for their safety, for everything to ensure that they have a good access to health and medicine and medications. That is something with a high quality and of course with good efficacy and safety profile and level, which I believe that SEMFA is trying to help this and provide this very well. And it was really supporting this program that I really appreciate, and I really would like to thank Mustafa and the team and everyone in SEMFA. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Ahmed. And as you said, we are working on a plan. Could be in by October, November, something like summer. And I would like to also thank Dr. Javid, his comments. I see his comments. Could you please keep the same pace of learning? Okay, sure, definitely. At the end, personally, I would like to thank you, Dr. Ahmed, not for this session, and definitely this session was great, but for the whole effort done along more than 5 months till now. I would like to thank all the participants being with us a long time, and as a promise, I will try at SEMFA to keep the momentum of learning and development sessions. Hopefully in Q4 we could come up with a good program, another program, or continue with some sessions related to some important topics not yet covered so far.
Yes.
Dr. Ahmed, maybe the last highlight is regarding the certificates for the attendees. I hope to continue sending the certificates, and if anyone not received his certificates, please sending direct to Dr. Ahmed, and he will provide for sure.
Yeah, yes, of course. And still we have a couple of the lectures, I think, just before Ramadan. So you didn't see the certificate, so we will do it, follow each other to ensure that you receive the certificates, because we were waiting for some accreditations that was not yet available or provided. So in the coming couple of weeks, we'll have your certificates. If you didn't receive any of them, so reach us and we'll provide you with the certificates.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ahmed. Thank you all, and hoping see you all again this year, inshallah, in another important topic. And I hope that the lectures you enjoyed, and it was very beneficial. Your feedback is very important. Please send to us or to the email of SEMFA Middle East any feedback. We'll be very happy to receive your comments. Thank you very much.
And I believe, Mustafa, we can prepare like a survey, so
Yes.
we can send it to you in a week or something, that we would like to hear your comments on what we did and your suggestions for the future.
Sure, sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ahmed. Thank you all.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Goodbye.